And welcome to the Band Buzz. Grab a drink, get ready. It's going to be a fun night. I've got a great guest tonight, a really good friend of mine I met in the Chicagoland area about 10 years ago, and he's built a fantastic band called Seventh Heaven. But first, let's get some advertising out of the way. First, this is brought to you by Legends of Tomorrow Entertainment. Visit them at legendsoftomorrowent.com for all of your entertainment and brand management needs. Hit them up at legendsoftomorrowent.com. If you've got a tribute band, a podcast, something like that, any kind of media content you're trying to put out there, those people will hook you up. legendsoftomorrowent.com. Next, we are brought to you by Old Wise Clothing Company. My buddy Eric has put together a fantastic deal for the Band Buzz and all of the fans who watch. Go to oldwiseclothing.com, put in the promo code BANDBUZZ, BANDBUZZ, and get 15% off your entire order. They've got cool t-shirts for the summer. They've got tank tops, trucker hats, awesome stuff. Go grab your gear right now at oldwiseclothing.com. Next, we have my girl, Andrea. Andrea has a great page called The Healthy Hustle with Andrea. Healthy Hustle with Andrea has tons of great tips on good stuff to put in your body, a lot of tips and tricks on protein and just staying healthy overall. She's great at that kind of stuff. She represents Arbonne products. Those are awesome products. I have the protein shake myself. I use the pain cream. I just used it on my friend tonight, and she's feeling much better. But also, you can email her at andreagraves24@gmail.com to get more information. Also, visit my girl, Beth. She has her page, Healthy Living Inside and Out, or Instagram at tranquil.solutions. Don't forget the tranquil.solutions. Beth is a massage therapist. She knows a lot about acupuncture and cool stuff like that. Go hit up her pages and just find out about wellness. We all need to stay well these days. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest, like I said, is an amazing musician, a great businessman, and just an all-around charismatic guy. I've shared so many stories with him. After he played, when I was the music director at the casino, we would hang out afterwards and just talk and talk and talk. And I wish I recorded those stories. And hopefully we'll get to share a bunch of those with you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Hofherr. What's up?
How are you? How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in it's probably been 5 years since I've actually talked to you. I've actually been to some Seventh Heaven shows. In fact, last year, I brought my parents out here from Pennsylvania, and you guys opened up for Foreigner at the Taste of Joliet. Oh, yeah. And my mom instantly became a huge fan, and they went and bought some Seventh Heaven merchandise, her and my niece. And now they're big Seventh Heaven fans in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Actually, yeah. So you've made some fans out of friends of mine. And I was like, those are friends. I'm friends with those people. And my mom thought that was super cool, and somehow made me cooler in my own mom's eyes. So she's probably watching, and she'll probably comment. So anyway, this has been a crazy time, of just forever in music. And, Seventh Heaven's large, it seems on the surface, a large part of Seventh Heaven's business is playing shows.
Yeah, we play almost 200 shows a year.
And so this pumps the brakes on that. And so what do you do?
Write a record. Record, catch up on stuff, that's what we've been trying to do, is just keep busy.
So when you say write a record, are you writing stuff that is just the next iteration? I know that Seventh Heaven tries to put out music every summer, and you always kind of push a single. It seems like every summer since I've known Seventh Heaven, which is since 2010. So is that what's on the horizon now, or are you trying to put more music out?
We have a system that usually write a record around the spring and release it in the summer. And so we were still on our trajectory to do that. We still are. We have it done pretty much. We don't know whether to release it or not. We're on the fence. We're like, do we release it? Will people buy it? I don't know. how can we promote it? We can't go play.
So in this world of streaming, how are you putting it out there? How are you selling it? What's the idea?
Well, we haven't released this record. It's still kind of here. It's sitting in the studio. We don't know. We're not sure what we want to do. We haven't decided whether to release it or not. We're on the fence with it. Whether to hold off.
What can we say or do to convince you to release it soon?
I like writing records, so I'll write records all the time. We've released almost 1,000 songs. That's a lot of songs to release. That's 1,000 songs in a band's career. It's in 35 years. It's a lot of original music. Most people think of us as a cover band because we're in the cover band ecosystem, but we're an original band. We're over 1,000 original songs. I mean, how many bands have that? Not many. And it's not like that's a goal to ascertain to be like, oh, we have more originals than ever. But it's just we are a creative process that wrote original records and original songs that happens to live in a cover band ecosystem because it's a healthier system to live in.
I always thought that was a good idea. I came from Austin to Chicagoland, and original music is really promoted there and not so much in Chicagoland. And I always found it interesting that Seventh Heaven had that original niche, that it was able to, be in this cover band ecosystem, like you said, and sort of spoon feed singles to people and get them to buy the CDs and stuff like that at the shows still, which I don't see exist with a lot of other bands and other types of things, but that seems to be like a business plan. Did you target it that way on purpose?
Yeah, I mean, most bands are in one of two different parts. You have the original bands where the artists are really creative and they're really good. And then you have the other parts who are cover bands where they're there for labor to get paid to play cover songs. And I wanted to be in the best of both worlds. I wanted to get paid, but I wanted to release original music. It's hard because sometimes you might have somebody that comes in into our band or crew that don't see that vision. But generally, that's been a consistent vision for 35 years to write records. And we sacrifice some of our money to have money for a record, to promote it, for advertising, for flyers, for things that we invest into. That we would not normally have to do if we were just playing covers. So it's a little bit different. I think you get the best of both worlds because in the cover band ecosystem, you not only get paid, but you also have the ability to reach larger audiences and have more shows than you would as an original band in one area. And to do that many shows, you would have to tour to go across the nation. And there's expenses that go with that. And as the music business evolved, I didn't see it viable financially to go do that.
Yeah,
so I mean, in Chicago.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, would you encourage other successful cover bands to try to put out original music as well? Do you think that doesn't work in every way?
Well, I think I always advise, or not advise, I suggest to a lot of my friends in other bands, I say, why don't you guys consider doing an original song for your band, and I've seen a couple of them do that. And I just think it makes it unique for the fan base to have something to listen to that's unique and different to that band. And so like for our band, like going to hear a song like Beautiful Life, it's our song. You're going to hear that at our show. You're not going to hear that at another band show. Yes, we carry the same common denominator of whatever the current hit is, if that's the kind of trajectory your band is. We're unique that we do our medley, our 30 song and 30 minute. That's unique. But we're Uptown Funk comes out, and a lot of the bands jump on that train. We did. We do because it makes the fans happy, and that's what they want to hear. They like that song on radio, so why not dance to it? And for our band, it fits in our model. We could fit that in our set. But what makes our sets unique is our original music, and that's what I think. And some shows we play more originals than we do covers. It just depends. Like with Bon Jovi at Soldier Field, we didn't play a single cover. We played all originals.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly opening up for national acts like Bon Jovi or Foreigner and things, and REO Speedwagon, when you guys do that.
Def Leppard, Journey. I mean, a lot of bands,
You're listing all my mom's favorite bands. She's like, this could be my mom's favorite podcast by far. But when you do those shows, I would think that that's also a great opportunity to put original music because you have those just captive fans in the audience. And if your music is sort of synergetic to those types of bands or whatever, that you would, naturally gain more fans. And again, I think that was exactly what happened to my mom and niece when you opened up for Foreigner, that they were like, wow, this this band has that national level feel to it, and that translated, and but right before, when we were talking sort of backstage here, you talked about like you kind of target, then people start looking at Seventh Heaven like my family does and go, well, why isn't this band like touring around with Foreigner, or why isn't this band touring around with Bon Jovi? And you kind of explained to me a little bit, and I'd like you to explain that to the audience about that strategy that you do. You're not doing certain things on purpose.
So when we were, want to be right around the year 2000, we were on Jenny Jones and we toured. We used to get in the van and trailer and go across the United States. Not long after that, rock music started going away and clubs were not around. So we decided to stay local, and it, I don't know how to explain this. It was hard to go into another, on a Saturday night, go make a fraction of the money in Indiana that you can make in Chicago.
Yeah.
And to do that, you would have to play it again and again and again and again. And in Chicago, you have a fan base that wants to hear you. So, and we have families. I want to raise my children here. So I want to see my children.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason why we stayed in this ecosystem. We had more opportunities, less costs, larger crowds, and we could have a life, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people throughout the country, even musically, don't understand, and it's a lesson I learned really quickly when I moved to Chicagoland, of how healthy and even wealthy the scene was here in Chicagoland, within a 30-mile radius.
Oh, for sure. The bands here make much more money than the bands that do the same job in Florida, in Las Vegas, in Wisconsin, in Indiana, in Louisville, Kentucky. And I know because we went and played there. And I would ask, what was the barometer? What were the big bands making? Just to understand the room of growth, whether to work the market. And there was a huge drop off financially. Yeah. To stay in Chicagoland, though, there's so much to do here normally, considering we're locked down right now, but within all the park districts, and you've got the villages, independent promoters, you've got bars, and there's just so much work, that you can do here, that it's easy if you are willing to work, you're willing to build your band, you have a great opportunity to do that in Chicago. And so that it never made sense for us to leave.
Yeah, I mean,
the only way we would ever leave would be if Bon Jovi has to go on tour for like 30 dates around the country. We would go. To do the van and trailer anymore, I don't know. We had a lot of fun. I mean, I have some of the best stories and good times of doing that. But it makes more sense to stay here. You have a much more rounder life with having a family, seeing your friends. And music plays a part of that. And it's not overwhelming that you don't have those other things. And what is life without friends and family if you are just a victim to the road? And you see the byproducts of that with a lot of bands who go on the road. And you can see some of them have a hard time, some with addiction or depression. And so there's something about the mental stability. I mean, just my opinion about that has value too, not just being a performer and a writer, And it's fulfilling to write a song, put a record out, promote it, see the connection with the fan base, and then enjoy that, get paid for it, and then be able to see some friends, go out and grab a dinner with some friends, watch your children grow up and be around that, and be able to just connect with people and your friends. And not that you couldn't do that on the road, but you wouldn't see your children grow up. You would have to see them periodically. And I see that, we play with Rick Springfield, and you can see that he's on the road all the time. And sometimes those things plague some artists, not all, but there's a lot of that have gone through depression and anxiety and substance abuse. And I don't fault them for that. I fault the system that's the byproduct of making that choice. And so there's a give and take with that. The road, I think almost every major act that has gone massive at one point or another went through some members who went through some semblance of that. And that's concerning to me, I guess, because we're trying to create music and something that's feels good, an expression of art. And I think that I don't want to fall victim to that.
That makes a lot of sense. I actually just watched the Garth Brooks documentary on Netflix, and he went through that whole part of his retirement. He was playing so much and watching his kids be raised by nannies and stuff, and he didn't want to do that. And so everyone was like, "Why is he retiring? He's in the prime of his career. He had 10 years of this like hits, and he's the biggest country music artist around." And yet he really just did that to raise his kids and try to fix some problems at home that were plaguing him.
You get one chance from when they're born to adulthood to raise them, to see them grow up, and to influence them, and to help them learn and grow. And I don't want to miss that. I feel lucky. We do so many benefits for different things between autism, Angelman syndrome, cancers, and I see a lot of these parents who are struggling with their children's health, and you sit and you feel for them, and you go, well, I'm lucky that I have my children's health. I feel lucky for that, and I want to make sure I'm around as much as I can, and I feel for that. I mean, every time we do one of those benefits, I feel so bad about the situation, and I want to do everything we can to help find a better solution for it.
No, it's really good. I mean, Seventh Heaven has, again, I've seen you guys involved in so many good causes, as far as playing big shows to really help raise awareness for all kinds of things, for, battered women and all kinds of things.
I feel like when we're all riding the same train of life together, I feel like we're all on the same team. That's how I've always treated life. That's how I've treated what we do. And I feel that, let's do what we can to work together for positive solutions. I'm a solutions guy. I look at problems. I think about if there's a problem, not everything's a problem, but if there is one, I think about what are some solutions, and I go back and forth with my own head, and that works. That frame of mind works very effectively in the business for Seventh Heaven. How do I make this show work? How do I make this record work? How do I do something unique with marketing? What's a creative idea to do with the band? How do I maximize the talent I have within the band? Exemplify the strengths and hide the weaknesses, and put together a good product that people are interested in listening to and seeing and enjoying, the connection of that. I spend money on within the video walls that we use live. That's a lot of money. It's not only a lot of money, it's a commitment not only on the equipment to buy, the parts for it, the labor to put it together, the content. It's a lot of work. You got to realize when we put our medleys together and behind us, you're seeing the artist behind us. One thing that nobody ever really realizes is that when I'm pulling a video from the 1970s and I'm putting, say, Journey behind us in time, the problem is the drummer didn't play on a click track, and we are on a click track. So we're very right on time. And so he's flowing. So when I put the video up, I have to go in and make these little edits. This part is, 99.8%. This part's 101. This is 100.6, and make these little interval percent ratios of speed so they sync.
Yeah.
It's a little, I videotape myself doing it. Maybe I'll put it up. The problem is because you see me editing the original content, YouTube will flag it, so I have to put it on our server. I'm not trying to make money on it. I just want people to see the cool creative process, because I don't really have any secrets to share. I'm just let's be productive. Let's get stuff done. I'm a very productive type of person. I like to work and get stuff done.
No, that's super cool. I mean, I think that's good for fans and other musicians to understand too. You're trying to put together not just even playing music. It's a show, it's a production, and you're trying to bring all these elements like video and lighting and all of that stuff. I mean, I remember when you guys first came to play at the Casino, when I booked you there, when I first took over that, and the amount of just production that you guys brought to that stage was more than anybody that had done, because you guys were interested in amping the whole experience up, not just you're going to play songs and people will like it. People are coming to get an experience, and I think that you sort of hit the nail on the head when you're attacking how you're going to put that together, from even down to your crew members, who I love, Dino and all those guys. There's super great, which segues into how you've assembled that team. So when now Seventh Heaven has not just the band, but it has a team behind it
with 25 people.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of small businesses don't have 25 people. I owned a small business in Pennsylvania that did like custom home theaters. I employed like 5 people, and I thought that was a nightmare, you know? So I can't imagine you employing like, 25 people, let alone in the music business, and keep all these people, working and happy. And so what goes into that?
I see, for me, the more the merrier for me. Like, I enjoy more people on the team because I like listening to everybody's opinions and ideas when we're brainstorming things we think we should do. What are some ideas we should bring to the table? And I like having also a sounding board to like express an idea and just hear back some feedback. I like to take that in. I like to listen. I mean, it depends. Sometimes I'm very directive. I already have the idea of what I want to accomplish already in my mind. I've already had the battle with myself. Do it, don't do it. Do it, don't do it. Yeah. And I've had that own battle. So by the time somebody comes to me, I've already had the fight in my own internal head about it. So by the time someone comes to it, yes, I've already have a definitive answer. But there's sometimes I like to get together with a round table of people. I like listening to other people's opinions on certain things too. When you surround yourself with talented people, it's a really fine balance to be, you don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen, but then at the same token, you also don't want to shun creative ideas that other people bring to the table. There's been times we've had kids that are teenagers interning for Seventh Heaven, and they brought an idea up that it wasn't my idea, but I was like, this is a really creative or good idea. They saw something and they saw something that could be done better, more efficiently. Why not bring it in? It doesn't have to come from me. Just because I'm the leader doesn't mean it has to be only my idea. It's about building a team and welcoming everyone's ideas and understanding that here's where we are, here's where we want to be, and how do we get there? Are we drawing a straight line? Are we having a couple ups and down bumps? Are we going to make a couple unique changes, a different route? But I think when you put together a group of people, at least one thing I've learned about managing bands and being in a band is that the one thing that most bands don't do is sit down together and have a business strategy and goals so they don't fight about them as you're going through the motions to get to where you want to go. Most bands, I've met with bands where I've sat down at the table, they're like, Rich, we want your work with you. And one guy's like, I want to play once a month. The other guy's like, I want to play every day of the month. I'm like, well, if you guys talk to each other, like that's very contrastingly different. And with Seventh Heaven, I learned over the years that to set a standard of what is expected, the more I can set that up before, the less arguing or fighting or disagreeing we have, because we're just doing what we've agreed to do. There was a point where you could voice your opinion about something, and if we've all agreed at that moment, well, then when we're in the middle of going through that motion, it keeps that ship much more stable and keeps it on course much more efficiently.
Yeah, that's super important, and I've actually, back in the day when I first got to Chicagoland and we had conversations, I've modeled a lot of what my band does after that, of like having that sort of unified vision of like what we're going to do, making sure everything, the band is run like a business and we're all on the same page.
Sure.
That makes this thing run like an organization, which segues me into kind of the next thing is, we've had different singers and different, players, and we just got a new guitar player, and your band is run like a business, and Seventh Heaven is that's your business to some degree, and it's certainly your team. But you've gone, Keith Simple was just here on the show. He was a singer when I first got to this area. Yeah. But you've had several different frontmen and things like that, and it's interesting to me that the band has never been the front person necessarily. It's just been the machine that it is.
It's the team.
Yeah.
It's the whole. It's the combination of all. Just like a sports team. It's a great analogy. A sports team, you might have a Michael Jordan, but you still need the other guys around him to make Michael Jordan be successful. Yeah. And so when you assemble people together, whatever they're doing, if you exemplify their strengths and hide their weaknesses and work with a vision that's directive, and it also evolves. There's an evolvement that happens. Then you will have progress. The hardest thing to do with artists is most of them are never happy with it not being perfect. So everything you're doing is a work in motion. So this record could be better. It could be mixed better. Maybe that vocal be better. The guitar could be better. The drum beat could be better. The tone could be better. The bass could be rounder. This could be louder. And you can argue that forever. And there's a point where you have to, as an artist, know that what you're releasing is a work in motion. And like, and it's progress. So really your career is watching a work in motion. If you look at a lot of records, a lot of the bands that have been around for years, the production just gets better and better and better and better. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a better record, because some of the good stuff was on early records and it wasn't produced as well, wasn't as tight, wasn't as perfect. Not everything was right on the money, you know? I remember hearing certain records and I'd be like, oh, I can hear all the imperfections of the record as a producer. But then that didn't mean it wasn't a good song and it didn't connect. So when we as artists are writing records, you have to realize to allow a little bit of freedom to let people see the work in motion so that you can have progression. And that's an important distinction that many, many artists I produce are fearful to do. They're fearful. Is it good enough? Should I release it? Should we wait? Should we remix it again? Should we rewrite it? Can we do it better? And I think we not to be afraid to show this is where we are today. And next year we'll be somewhere else. And next year we'll be somewhere, and we evolve. And every artist does that. No matter if you're the Stones, you're Paul McCartney, no matter who you are, you know, you're evolving a long career. And there's nothing wrong with showing the works in motion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I say that a lot sometimes with, you know, musicians that are almost too perfectionist. At some point, it's even diminishing returns. It's you're spending more time on it than what you're doing.
Right, what you're doing more harm. So Seventh Heaven is definitely that. It has to. I really have to make sure I manage that part of it. There's many times where I know, as a producer, as a mixer, I know I can make this better and better and better. But there's a point where I go, am I over-analyzing it where it's actually being counterintuitive because I'm not releasing this product to market at a time when people would want to consume it? And that's such an important distinction as not only the producer, but also the manager, and also as an artist and writer to have to be able to go, I know I might be able to look back at this and go, I could have made that better, but go, I'm at peace for where it is today, and I'm okay showing that we're not perfect, that not everything is perfect. It's as good as we can make it today, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just my opinion, and that same thought process carries over in every single decision I have to make with Seventh Heaven, with the set list, where we're playing, what to put on the screens, when to put on a record, how to market, how to advertise. Yeah. And that same philosophy has to apply where we have to constantly balance whether to overanalyze where we paralyze, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Paralysis by analysis is
right. You have to be careful of that. Because we're creative beings, artists and musicians, especially the ones that write original songs. We can fall victim of that. And that's a very important thing to try to ride. And as a producer, I've had a lot of bands that produce their records, and I'm like, guys, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think I'm at peace with it going, I think it's good to let the people hear this. I'm aware we can make this perfect, but
yeah.
You know, but like, let's let them enjoy this, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Justin, we're only alive so many years. You can't just live forever and hold things for 80 years and you die 80 years old. But now the record's perfect, but then you can't even enjoy it because you can't play it.
Sure. You know, I to be honest, I probably live in that space personally as a songwriter, that I belabor my songs a lot before I put them, you know, to anybody. And I've learned from some folks like yourself and other your friends that I'm talking to that will be on the show also, that are kind of more, you know, restarting their careers as songwriters or whatever, that, you know, just, you got to put some stuff out there. I have a lot of great friends who are fearless, and they're like, I just wrote a song, here you go. And they put it out there, and you're like, wow. I don't, for some reason, I just don't have that nerve that is just like, oh, I'm just letting it all fly. I belabor every line, everything, every lyric and whatever. I'm like, a seventh grader could have wrote this shit. And I'm, you know, it's like, I'll bag it, you know.
Why are we at this point in life where we're all afraid to show that we all have some semblance of a flaws?
Yeah.
Like, why does everything have to be so perfect? I mean, what should be perfect is your effort. That's what should be perfect. The effort you put forth in anything you do. That is the only thing that should be perfect.
That's good advice. I think that's good advice for aspiring songwriters and
for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's why if somebody's going to be whatever they're going to be, a chef, just care about what you do, put forth a good effort, and you're more than halfway to success. You're more than halfway there. I wish there's sometimes I'm not critical of, I want to be critical of anybody, but if I'm out in public and I'm at a restaurant and something's not working right, I just go, they just don't care. If they just cared, cared, we as human beings will achieve so much more greatness. And it's literally, I tell my children that all the time. They're 6 and 9. Like, just care about what you do. And if you don't care, then move on to another, move on to something else, enjoy what you're doing. Love what you do.
Yeah.
It makes life so much better.
I had a friend of mine who gave me a good line, and he said, make sure that your effort is as great as your passion. So everyone here is passionate about something, and whether, like you said, music or food or whatever. And if you're gonna do it to like yield a buck in your life, you need to make sure that your effort matches the level of passion that you have for it.
Do you notice that we human beings look at other human beings, and we are always wowed by when you see somebody excel at what they do? Like most people, they watch Michael Jordan, they're like, wow, or Walter Payton. I mean, I list Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, Michael Jackson, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Elon Musk. These are some of the people that inspire me. And it's not because of their fame or their money or their stature. It's because they really, really had a really good work ethic and really worked hard to achieve greatness when they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And that's motivating to me to as a person to watch people have that much aspiration to be successful. And it shows me, if you care, that you can be successful at what you're going to do. We all, you and me, all of us will all evolve our skill sets and our knowledge. But if we don't have a good work ethic and we're lazy, that negates all the knowledge that we gain.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a good word for a lot of folks, man. Like, and I certainly am one of those people. I never sit still. So I'm always dreaming of something else, but I'm a doer. Like I'll figure out a way to do it, even if it's not, even things like this. Like, I wanted to do this podcast forever because
awesome.
I've got friends like you, and I want to share these stories. And I'm always like, well, I don't know. Like I start belaboring over all the little ins and outs that I want to make perfect. But then part of me has to be like, just go do it and care about what you're doing and saying, and then put forth the effort, and eventually those things will align. I think it's so important, and it's important for people who are starting bands, people who are writing songs, people who are in the music industry in some way. You want to have a bar, a restaurant, whatever. You've got to care at that level to make it successful.
I love it. Makes life enjoyable.
So we do have interactive comments, and I know this is going to be a podcast.
I don't see any of them.
So I'm going to put some on the screen, and this was a good one. It says, Justin, ask him when he thinks the next time they will play. Do you have a target date of when Seventh Heaven's going to get back out there again?
Yeah, I do. I have a general idea. I actually got to go to the website to look, because I can update it because things have changed. Tomorrow we were supposed to do a webcast, a live webcast in Winnetka, and we postponed it. And the reason why we postponed it is because we might be actually able to do the show and play it physically with people coming to it in August. That's what we're hoping. So we moved it to August 19th. There's a lot of hit and misses going on. Like, I don't know if right now Cicero American Fest has not made a call at the end of June 28th. The Elkhorn Rib Fest that's up in Wisconsin is going to happen. That unless something changes. As of today, that show is happening. Lindenhurst Concert in the Park is not canceled. That we have a private show at the Elgin Country Club that you can go to if Elgin has, if you are part of the member or friends with a member there. Taste of Orland Park confirmed with me today that they want to go. I really like the mayor's approach to ask the governor for why he's using a 4-week trajectory versus a 2-week. And I thought that was a fair assessment. And then there's some in August and September. If you go to seventhheavenband.com, you can see that. Click on the tour. And I try to update it weekly with what is in it, put in red what's canceled or postponed. Almost 99% of what's canceled this year has just been rescheduled for 2021. Doesn't really help us this year, but we're trying to do what we can. We've talked with the Sears Center about doing a virtual concert. I think we're going to do that at some point. I'm open for drive-in concerts. I was going to talk to the fan base and actually write to them next week and say, and say, hey, reach out to your local mayors. And if the mayors are willing to give a permit to do so, I'll actually I'll use my events company and I'll put on the fest. Like if the mayor of Schaumburg will say, yeah, Richie, you can do a show. Well, there you go. I'll make it happen.
Nice.
I'll financially fund it. I'll put the whole thing together. I just need the blessing of a mayor and the city council to give me a permit to do it, and I'll do that. I believe that we could be safe in this time and be able to enjoy music. And I do respect that we've had to deal with a pandemic of a virus. I do take it seriously, but I do also while I say that, I also do feel that we've a little overreacted in some of our policies, not all of them. And I'm hoping this just goes away. I don't want to hear. Nothing bothers me more than hearing anybody being sick or passing away. I like, and unfortunately, as human beings, we all are going to pass away at some point, and it's a hard thing. I mean, for me personally, when this first took place, I had to reassess. Like, will I die from this? It's something that I personally thought. I don't criticize anybody in the beginning about this because it's an unknown. We don't know what this is. It's an unknown. And when I hear my doctor friends say it's unknown, it's concerning. So I respect that from that angle. I just want to see us get back. I like to see people be safe, and I'd like to see us playing again. We want to play. The band, as long as we've ever gone. I think. Yeah. I think maybe 1993 or 94, around that time, might have been the only time it was longer that we didn't play. And most of it's in our 35 years, this is the longest stretch we've gone without playing. And I miss it. I miss playing with the guys in the band. To me, the band and crew are like my brothers. I never had a brother. I have a sister, and the guys in the band are like my brothers. And I get along with them like they're my family. And I want to see them. I enjoy being around them. I like playing. I enjoy seeing the fans. I enjoy seeing people come out to the shows and smiling and seeing people for a moment forget about their work, their maybe a relationship or maybe their health, and they're enjoying themselves and they're having a good time. That's very important to me, and I take that very serious. That is another angle that when I started playing music, I never thought of that angle.
So Samantha says it's going to be one big party when we're all together again. I agree.
Well, yeah, I think it will, but however, I think it will happen when the whole population feels safe about their safety, because you have two different ideologies right now. You have the one that wants to get out right away and they want to go, everything's free, open everything back up, and you have the other people that are concerned about their health. And I don't it's a personal choice. I'm not going to ever tell somebody how to think or act. That's a personal choice. And so you will have some people that are concerned about their safety, and while it could be opened up tomorrow, some will not show up because they're concerned about that, and that's okay. Like I'm never going to criticize somebody about how they feel.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's freedom of choice in my opinion.
Very important freedom of choice.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, and I think that it's important to let all fans of all bands know that the schedules of everyone is kind of touch and go. So you have to, please don't be a stickler for what Richard says is happening, and then it might not happen because even we were supposed to play in Iowa this Saturday, and today canceled just because they're updating it minute to minute in certain states and certain places, and so things can change on a dime right now, and it's just important for all the fans to understand that it can't. Don't hold anybody to anything right now, because the music business is really just it's touching.
I mean, the problem that we have too is we were booked for CD and Me, Broken Oar, and Nico's Red Mill Tavern. All three of those places are technically open for business.
Yep.
The problem that we have with Seventh Heaven is that, like, okay, so like CD and Me want us to have the show, and they're like, we'll go with it, but we're only going to limit 200 people. Well, okay, so what happened? That's a show that would normally have 800 to 1,000 people. So how do I communicate to 800 people? Don't come to CD and Me tonight, and that's assuming they would come. I don't know, but I don't want anybody pissed off about that. And then CD and Me doesn't want a problem with the city going, you were overly crowded, you had too many people, we're going to shut it down. So they want to ease everything in. And every place that we play, that's the dilemma that we have, is that it's not that we can't play, it's that Broken Oar. They want to have us, but Bonnie's like, we need to ease into this. We need to do unplugged acts for a little while and see how it goes. And I'm okay with that. I'm a team player. This isn't about Seventh Heaven. This isn't about me. This is about what is best for all of us. And I'm okay to play on the same team as everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you're right. And there is that, line. You almost have a good problem. I wish my problem was always like, I think too many people are going to show up to our show. So please don't.
I'm not self-grandizing. This is what they tell me. I mean, when they tell me why they canceled Broken Oar, CD and me,
for sure.
Nico's, I didn't decide that. They're like, hey, listen, you guys, every time you played here, have too many people that are going to come here, so we have to move you later in the year. And I'm like, okay.
We're over to fire code normally anyway.
I'm just like, it's all right. I mean, I'm okay. I don't know. I don't assume everywhere we go there's going to be a large crowd. I'm grateful, but I don't know. I mean, I work hard to try to go. Like if I see a decline in our attendance, I say, well, I need to do something better with the band. I'm not taking advantage of the talent I have. I need to evolve the set. I need to write another record. I need to create some new element in the show. Maybe invest in something better for sound. I don't lights. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, marketing and advertising. So I don't assume that everywhere we go is going to be a B, but the problem is the people who hire us are like, hey man, like we need to wait on you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not upset. My temperament has been very even keeled this whole time. I'm probably like one of the best people to be around if like your house caught on fire. Like I wouldn't panic. I'd be like, calm down. We'll call the fire department. We'll get some water on this. We'll get some valuables. Are we gonna? Oh, we'll be okay. Make sure you got the dog.
Make sure everyone's okay.
Make sure it's okay. I don't panic. I mean, we should not be panicking in life. For me, I wanted to let the medical science to go by and let the doctors in. Now I got good news from my neighbors that are doctors, and they feel much more confident on how to treat this virus right now, and that's very good. That makes me feel good. That and I trust that the doctors are doing their best and nurses to help the people not pass away from this, and that's happening, and that's good to find out. I don't know. You have to in life. You have to be ready for bumps in the roads and curveballs.
Yeah, for sure. And this business is certainly full of,
for sure.
It's never ending. So I feel like one of the things that you talk about was you see the crowd dwindling and those kind of things, and then you go, okay, there's something I need to do. And you mentioned marketing in there, and I think a lot of bands don't understand what that means to do marketing for themselves. And I know we could write a book on just that aspect of.
So it's interesting about marketing. What I learned from the original artists, they get record deals and let the record label handle that. So therefore it becomes on the bottom line balance sheet of what they owe back to the record label. And they make all those decisions because they have a batting average of knowing how to make effective decisions to make a band successful through marketing, through a whole semblance of things, through payola, through buying on tours, through with radio and videos and social marketing, physical print, placements in shows. But then you have the cover bands, and the cover band guys don't like to invest their money into marketing. They're like, we made $1,000 divided by 5, $200 a guy, that's gone. And then you're like, oh wait, give me $20 back for the flyers. They're like, I'm not paying for the flyers. We don't need flyers. And it's shocking. It was very interesting to learn that that's really the two methodologies that are out there. A lot of cover bands do not want to part with money. They do not. They see this as laboring, punching into the clock, playing for their time, and going home. But what I learned years ago is that if I started taking part of the band's income and invest it into marketing, it actually increased our value and increased our money flow that came into the business. Plus, we could write off the expenses on our taxes. So I used to use an algorithm of what did the band make per year, what would we have to pay in taxes, and that was my marketing budget. So I used to use this algorithm to every year and I analyze it. And I would use it. So, I mean, rather than paying taxes, I'll just put the money back in the economy through marketing. And that algorithm worked for so many years. I've spent up to $100,000 a year marketing Seventh Heaven. That's shocking to most people.
Wow. Yeah.
ever think I would spend that amount of money. Absolutely. If I went down I should one day give a list of all the things that I spend money on, and you'd be like,
I would be interested in that list for sure.
I mean, I'll tell you one interesting stat alone that would blow your mind. Every single summer, we spend between $10,000 and $20,000 in glow sticks that we give away for free and we don't make any money on. Very rarely do we sell a couple at the merch table, but 99% of them are thrown away for free at shows, and that's it. It's an expense to give a moment to have. You're in that moment, you feel that, and you feel that energy, you remember that, and kids take those glow sticks, and they go home with them, and sometimes I brand our logo on them, and that costs more money. That's where it starts heading towards 20,000.
Right.
But I mean, you wouldn't think that when I started a band, I would never think, you're going to spend that amount of money on glow sticks? I'm like, never would I spend that money. But when I see how happy it makes people, it's worth every single penny. And that's worth everything. To bring people joy and happiness through our shows, I'll never stop trying to find a way to do that, ever.
Yeah, no, that's smart. One summer I did like a couple thousand on koozies. People.
Oh, and Justin, on guitar picks, I go through 150,000 picks a year.
Someone on the comments mentioned, I'll have to go back and see, but they mentioned that they miss the guitar picks. So yeah. I remember getting pegged for the first time in the head by one of those that you were throwing from the stage. I was like, what was that? And all of a sudden I was like, having picks everywhere. And I was like, someone in the audience turned around and told me, and it's like, I was like, why are they throwing all these picks away? Go, that's their thing. And then I looked up at the stage and I saw your stage guy, Ryan, just like putting the mag strips on the mic stand. And I was like, wow, he is the machine gun up there, just like right when I'm out there.
It's funny. I didn't tell you, but in the last 6 months or a year that we played at Hollywood Joliet, they would not let me throw picks. They said, you cannot throw guitar. And I have these a couple kids in front of me, like, you throw a pick? I'm like, I can't. Like literally, they're like watching me, like, you do not throw a pick. And it's, I think, one of the only places I've ever been told you can't throw a pick. And I'm like, I'm not out to hurt anybody. I mean, I absolutely am not out to hurt. And Nick throws it, but I'm probably like 10-to-1 ratio. Like, for every one he throws, I'm throwing 10. So
listen, I don't work at the casino anymore. That we had the shittiest rules for bands. I felt so terrible, because I'm in the business too, and I would invite bands like yourselves come in, and then you walk in, I got to give you all these fucking rules, and I hated it. Like, it pained me to be that guy, because if you hang out with me, I'm the worst guy. Like, I'm the opposite of this.
If you meet anybody in my band or crew, the last thing we want to do is be combative and hard to work. We're like friendly and willing to do what's needed. We're like on the same team. We're not trying to be like, rebellious and we're going to prove the world wrong. Well, that's not what our job is. Our job is to entertain, make you feel good, not be a pain in your ass.
Yeah. No, I mean, but like I said, like you guys dealt obviously gracefully. Some other bands that came in did not deal with that situation gracefully. They were like, well, we do this and we do that, and but then I've had to do shitty things like ban there's a big area band that I had to ban from the casino, and it pained me because the guy accidentally took a sip of like an alcoholic beverage in between. Someone handed him like a glass of Coke and he took a sip, and apparently it had some booze in it, and at the casino you can't do that, and that they had to get banned. And I felt freaking terrible like that, and I'm friends with these people to this day, but like, and they had to understand this is not me. Like, the Illinois Gaming Board has their hands in the casino. It's not even the casino. It's like the Gaming Board, which is a division of the state trooper's office, which is making up all these rules and regulations. And you're like, how can people just let loose and have a good time if the band can't, it's like, let loose a little bit too. I mean, some of the rules I understood from a safety standpoint or that kind of thing, or like, they don't want the band getting all boozed up and, gambling and like throwing up on the craps table in between their sets or something, but that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, it's like, you can't throw a pick out there because someone might slip on it. It's like you can what if everything to death, and eventually you'll have nothing. It's like nobody will want to go to shows here because they were shooting themselves in the foot left and right. And it was not even all the casino's fault. A lot of it has to do with like the gaming, the state overreaching, in that realm. And that kind of segues me into something with you that I wanted to dig into a little bit.
Sure.
Is on your social media, you're very vocal, and you have opinions about things and sometimes people don't really agree with you. And some people may say that you fall on the right a little bit, or certainly in favor of capitalism and things like that because you've built a business. And you seem to be more than most, like, off the cuff. It's like you don't necessarily fully care that maybe some fans that follow you personally might disagree with you on politics.
I'm okay with them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you seem to just match it with facts and where you found your sources and things like that. But then I've seen some people on your page be combative, or say things, or say they're not going to follow you, or they're going to whatever. How do you deal with that?
So first off, I mean, with Seventh Heaven as a band, we don't get involved with politics as a band. We don't make any political statements as a band. We're not a political band. For me personally, the people who are on my social media, I assume they're my friends, and if they're truly my friends, they'll allow me to speak my piece, just like I will allow them to speak their piece. I don't always agree with either side on everything. There's a lot of things I disagree with both sides of them, and I'd like to see a third party be involved. For me, being managing 15 corporations, a lot of people, being involved with a lot of different businesses, meeting mayors, all different types of people that I'm around, different personalities, different intellects. I find that and with the band, our reach of our band is around the world. Even though we stay in Chicago, we're around the world. I deal with people from all around the world. And I notice that with people, if they're loved, appreciated, and respected, that's all people want. And a lot of times in politics, I watch, here we are here, and here's where we all want to be. And I see one party go this way to get there, and I see one party go this way to get there. And we're all wanting mostly the same things, mostly the same outcomes. We're arguing about the differences of how to get there. And I watch the media look at semantics and make semantics become issues that enrage people's emotions. And I think that's unfair to do to people. I have no a problem with somebody liking or disliking somebody for their personality, but our elective process of what we elect for people to run on the governor, from our mayors to our president, we should be looking at the policies and whether we agree with the policies. We should not be looking at their personalities, because they all are flawed, because we are flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed. All of us have flaws. We can go on a flaw fest and point out everybody's flaws and then put headline stories about it. But I don't like to see that much anger in people. I have no problem. I'm friends with a lot of people that disagree with me on certain politics, but agree with me on others. And I think we all have that soup ingredients of what we like for what is important to us. Mm-hmm. For somebody that is gay, they want to know their gay rights are well taken care of. And I agree with them 100%. I can't even believe that the gays are even an issue politically anymore, because they talk about separation of church and state. And if we're really talking about managing the people, well, then what about the people who are atheists or Muslims or Catholics, Jews? Not every religion has an issue. An atheist doesn't have an issue religious about whether two people love each other. And why are we arguing about that? And so I watch people make issues out of things that we should not be making issues out of. I see when I witness the parties, both sides of them, they both are arguing with each other so much that they get no productivity done, because we need to pass a bill to fix this bridge. Well, now this bill is this long. It should be this simple. We agree to fix this bridge at this amount of cost by these people by this amount of time. Do you agree or not? Now, I know you have other issues, but those should be other bills and other things that we pass. That's how you have progress. If you're going to stuff everything and hide in little things, I was shocked when the COVID thing happened. Both parties, they're both shoving things in there that have nothing to do with helping the people. And so it's hard for me not to speak up about that, because I really feel the political system is more about maintaining control than really taking care of the people. And that's what we elected them to do. They're there to help us. We are asking them through elections, please help us. And they're not doing that. And I have an issue with that. And I would be fine with having a healthy debate with somebody that I disagreed with, because I'd like to point out I don't think they're all being fair to us. And it doesn't mean I hate them. It just means that I think the discussion should be about the policies, not the personalities. we could look back at many leaders and many still that are not only in America, but around the world. We have a lot of people that are leading and they have flaws. They're some have egos. Many of them have egos. And I don't have a problem with the ego side. It's the policies I think we need to be focused on, because at the end of the day, all these people that you talk to, from the mayor to the governor to the president, they're not hanging out with you and I today. But what does affect us is the policy that was written directly affects our way of life. And that's very important that they stay focused on that and not play into the media. And I don't think the media has been fair about everything. I see a consistent pattern of media having an opinion about something, and then and they've been caught with their lying. They haven't been honest, and yet then people still look at them as a barometer to listen to for valid news. And I'm just, it's unfortunate, because I care about everybody. I not only care about everybody in America, I care about everybody on the planet. Like I don't see us as us, them, that. I don't see it as that. So when I bring up a point politically on my page, only personally to only my friends, hoping they're my friends, I don't have a problem with them disagreeing with me, because I'm not acting. I don't think they have to agree with me. I'm trying to have a healthy discussion upon things that I think should be fair. Fairness and honesty is so important to me. Fairness is usually when I see people pissed off, and it comes back to them not feeling that they've been fair about an issue or how they feel. And that's important. I think we all have something that we want to talk about, So that's kind of it.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you say. Even on your post. Hold on. Echo.
I'm telling you, no matter where you are, no matter where you're from. What's that?
No, there was just a little echo going on.
No matter where you're from, I'm telling you, I've met people from all around the world. Everybody just wants to be loved, appreciated, and respected. And if you do that, I'm absolutely convinced you will eradicate wars, hatred, everything that we plague us as human race. If you understand those basic three fundamentals, and if you do that, that right there is the breakdown of why we have fights and wars and the problems that we have, is because of those three breakdowns. Love, appreciating, and respecting each other.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a third party called the Common Sense Party or something.
Right. Common sense, or somebody who just wants to get something done. I mean, if I ever ran into politics, I would create a third party. If I ran in politics, I would create and my party would be a balance of people from both aspects that were willing to say, let's put the goal of the people before ourselves. If we do that, we'll kick ass.
I think both parties are subject to the hijacking of the extremes now, because
for sure.
Wheels are getting oil on
they're arguing over semantics. It's semantics we're arguing over. This guy wore a blue suit. He wore the wrong shoes. Oh my gosh, guys!
I always say
none of that plays into help.
I always say it as people arguing what the word is. You know what I mean? All of a sudden that became a thing, and that becomes now the thing. It's not even about what the fact is that you're talking about. They'll go, well, where it came from, they have other things that are discredited or not good. But even though the thing that you've shared or whatever is true, they'll go, well, yeah, but the other stuff. And you're like, well, we're not talking about the other stuff. We're talking about this thing, and like you said, with the bills, it's like, we're talking about this thing. And then they pour all these other things in there. And you go,
it's so unfocused. It's unfocused.
It's just a political football. So the other side could go, they don't want kids to have health care. And you're like, that's not what's going on.
You want to know just who suffers? We all suffer.
Everyone does.
We all suffer because of that. And that's why we keep politics out of the band. We're there for you to escape that when you come to our shows. I don't want to talk to somebody about politics after we're done with the show. If you want to chat, I'll chat with you. I've done that with many people. But we're there to play music and have a good time and have people forget about that. We're not there about conflicts, and that's what we're there to escape it.
One last thing with your social media, and someone brought it up here. I want to post this, and this is funny. Steve says, I took a wonderful trip to Costa Rica on money I made on Apple stock that I bought years ago from Richie's recommendation. So I noticed that you did that a lot on your social media too, which was kind of fun for me. And I've played along a little bit, and I've done okay.
Did you buy stock? Because it's
I
killing today.
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
$44 today.
So yeah, so follow Richie's page if you want some helpful stock tips, especially with like Apple. And
I'll give you two backstories to that. One. Okay. So back in 99, 2000, during that era, I was one of 6 people that put together a website called wallstreetview.com. I still own the domain name. There's a picture of it. If you go, there's just a splash page. It doesn't work. It's just I put it on an angle so you know that it was purposely just paying homage to it. At some point, maybe I'll put it back up or do something with it because I have a real estate one. But so I got into doing a website and all the marketing for wallstreetview.com. And it was a financial portal that pulled in New York from New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ in real time. And we use a company called Tipco that does Yahoo Finance. And during the time being there, these 5 finance majors, and one of them was my best friend, Matt, they're all there and like they know everything about finance. And I never went to school for finance, but I'm intrigued by how they're trading stocks. So one day, Fruit of the Loom tanks and goes bankrupt. We're going bankrupt. I'm like, they ain't going anywhere. Fruit of the Loom underwear is going to be around forever. Like the brand's too large. So I bought the stock and I doubled my money because the stock came right back. I was like, wow, that was interesting. I made a lot of money for just buying underwear for 5 minutes. So I started watching how to make money on stocks, and I started learning that a lot of the rich people that invest make money off the differentials of what they're loaning to making on their portfolio, and that differential percentage is how they're making their money. And there's ways to invest to kind of protect yourself in some ways. So I started learning. I started advising my friends, and some listened, some didn't. And the ones that listen are thanking me because I've made them a decent amount of money. I bought Apple back when it was $35 a share, and it went up to 700, split 7-to-1. Now it's up at 230, 34, and I still keep buying it as I say. I still am investing. I'm intrigued in there. It's like white collar gambling, is really what it is. I mean, but I'll tell you what. There's more money that you can make with, in my opinion, you can make money with real estate and with the markets. But you got to know how to work the markets. You got to know how to ride those waves, because Apple is without a doubt a wave riding stock, and most hedge funds or money managers for 401ks would not put Apple in there because they couldn't handle all the influx of phone calls when it crashed. Because there's days it'll drop significantly. And, Adam's one of the guys I got into doing the stock. And when it drops, Adam calls me, what I do? I go, nothing. You calm down. Buy more. I know Apple really well. I could tell you so much about Apple that would bore you and put you right to sleep. I literally know every aspect of that company from top down of everything they're doing. The only criticism I have of Tim Cook is that Steve Jobs used to announce a product, release a product, and then show the sales financially in one financial quarter. Tim Cook will announce in one quarter, be late on releasing, ship it in another, not have enough to have the full shipment, carry over to a third quarter, and not show the financial third quarter. Well, he dilutes the wow factor. Mm-hmm. And Steve Jobs knew from marketing how to really use that wow factor in his favor to get people to live up in droves at the mall and get excited about a product. And then through social media, I got the new trending phone, got the new trending this, and they knew how to do that. And I wish Tim understood that. I understand it, but I don't run Apple. I'd love to run Apple, but I have a band to run. And I got boys to raise.
Well, maybe when Seventh Heaven's done its run, you could do a money line segment or whatever.
Yeah, and who am I? I'm not an expert. There's certain things I know I really know my thing on. And Apple and how that stock moves, I know that's solid, rock solid.
Well, a lot of people here have been, commenting appreciative of how you help them with. So that's interesting. Again, so super interesting stuff. So if you are personal friends with Rich, you can catch all that stuff on his personal page.
My journey of craziness.
His downward spiral. So lastly, we've been talking for about an hour, and lastly, I just want to talk a little bit. You've shared some fun stories with me, and some people, some on the bigger levels that you've worked with, in songwriting and playing shows and stuff like that. And what's like, pick out like one of the most memorable experiences, funny or otherwise.
On the road, or
Yeah. Or just like Seventh Heaven has been around since how many years?
35.
35 years.
35.
So 35 years. And if you just sit back right now and you go, what's like a big one that stands out in your mind was like the craziest?
One of the craziest funny stories. We used to play Western in Macomb, Illinois, and it was every time we came to that town, it was completely madness, complete craziness. And there was times we would go there, and we pull in the afternoon to load in at 2, 3 in the afternoon, and there'd be a line like a mile long, and I'm like, "What are they in the line for?" They're waiting to come in to see you. I go, "Us? like us? Like to see our show? We're not on until 10. Like what?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's crazy." So this bar, change of pace, would pack in with over 1,200 people. And we would be on stage and have the most rowdiest parties. We'd have friends that come out, and they'd go to the bartenders. They'd give us $100 worth of shots it cost, and we would hand out shots to the people in the crowd, and people were wasted. And I put a video up not too long ago of those shows. And I'll never forget that we always got 3 rooms, where there's like the party room and then 2 rooms on the side of it that padded the noise, and where we keep our clothes and make sure that we keep our money and make sure that they were like clean rooms. And our singer Tony announced the hotel room number to the audience. I'm like, "You just told like 1,200 people where we're going to be party ever." And then the bar would give us all this alcohol. Now, I don't drink. I've never had alcohol in my life. I never had a drop, These people are just taking all this alcohol, go back to the room. And that whole place was completely crazy. So one of the roadie guys, this guy Bob Jaws that we had in the band, working for the band, I had these big muscle guys that were frat guys. I said, "Move his car in the street." These guys physically picked his car up and walked it and put it in the middle of the road. And I'm like, they carried it a good distance. We were going to put it in the pool, but there was a fence over the pool and we couldn't lift the car. I'm not kidding when I say they lifted the car.
Wow.
So then we went over. It was just one of the crew guys we had fun. So then we duct taped him into the hotel room, so he couldn't get out, and he couldn't get out of the room, and he's stuck in there with duct tape. And we come back, and there's a guy that was the manager at the hotel. His name was Eldon, and he was like the character of National Lampoon's Vacation. "Sorry, folks, park's closed. Moose out front should have told you." I mean, it's like it could have been his twin brother. It was
yeah.
He goes back to the room. He's like, "What's going on here? What's going on here?" And he's like, all that. And Nick is like completely all the half. He goes, "Get out of here!" And he slams the door on the guy. And I go, "Oh my God, he just slammed the door on the manager. We're going to have to do I have enough money to bail us out of jail?" So all of a sudden he slams open the door with the master key, and one of our friends drops, goes, "Oh my gosh." So he drops to the ground, and we're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And he didn't really hit him, but this guy's like, "Oh, let's forget this even happened." And he leaves. So I'm sitting there, and there's people all over. There's like 300-400 kids just wasted all over the place. People passed out everywhere, just drunk. And I'm literally going, this is a scene right out of Animal House. So I leave. We go over to the gas station. While we're at the gas station, one of the guys that was with us, he's a crew guy. He's wasted, and he goes up to the guy. "You got any ice cream?" And he's like, "Yeah, over there." And the guy's like, "You're in 7th Avenue." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You guys come down. It's crazy. It's crazy." So one of the guys, my friends, he eats 2 ice cream sandwiches. Goes, "You have a garbage." Guy throws it out. We walk out. I go, "Did you even pay for that ice cream?" He goes like, "No." I go, "No one paid for that. You just ate the ice cream for the guy." He throws it out. We turn the corner, and here's Eldon with a hacksaw trying to saw Jaws out of his room, because Jaws can't get out of his room because we've duct taped him in the room. So then Jaws runs around, he gets him out, he's running around in his tighty whitey underwear, and I'm literally going, this is one of the most out of control nights I've ever while living on Earth. What I was witnessing there literally could have been a scene right out of Animals. We wake up in the morning and Jaws was pissed off that his car was in the middle of the road and all the cars were driving around it. He let all the air out of the tires of the van. I'm like, okay, touche, that's fine, we're good. Like, and so, yeah, going to Western was always an adventure. I have a million stories like that of just funny. When we went on the road, it was for sure like a boys' party in the van trailer going from New York to LA. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't trade those days for anything. Some of the funniest time. There was a time in Utah, Dino gets out, Dino and Nick and I, and Nick's Nick's totally knows the constellations and knows the stars more than anybody I know. Him and Jim Obels know everything about the constellations. So that they're out there, and Nick's looking out there, looking up at the stars, and we're in the middle of Utah, and it's really dark, so you can see all the stars. And we're walking through this in the middle of the desert, and Dino's walking around with them, and I got a flashlight following up, looking at the ground, like, what are you doing? I go, I'm looking for snakes, because if we get bit by a snake, where are we going? We're in a hospital within 2 miles of here. There's no anti-venom you're gonna get. I'm watching for snakes. We're in their territory, It's just crazy times, man. It's funny times, funny moments.
So as you've built Seventh Heaven, and all that craziness has certainly led you up to these moments. And a couple of years ago, you started the cruise.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and so that has been. I've watched that thing grow over the last couple of years, and every time you plan this thing, it's always on a week or something. I can't do it, but I do want to go on one.
Yeah, you got to go on. It's one of the fun things.
Yeah, I gotta be like the special correspondent or something on Seventh Heaven cruise. But
so when I was 13, before I started Seventh Heaven, I just learned how to play guitar, and that was actually the first time I played in front of an audience. As I played guitar, I played "Beat It" with the band by Michael Jackson on a cruise ship.
Wow.
At 13, 14, right when I started, maybe 15, right when I started playing guitar. And then I said, I got to do this with my band. Then I went on about 10 years later, played with the band again. And I'm like, I need to bring my band on here. And I kept bringing it up in our band meetings, our annual band meetings. I really want to do a cruise. I really want to bring the band on a cruise. And so now we built this, about 450 people go on the cruise with us. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. And I ended up becoming the travel agent. And so I'm the travel agent, and I'm Paulette from Hillbilly Rockstars, Scott is his wife. She's my main assistant. I've got a girl, Mary, that helps me out. Jim and Becky help us out. I got a good team of people that help me do things for the cruise, and it's a great time. I love seeing people having a fun time and enjoying themselves. It's one of the greatest things we do. I've heard it's fun.
You've also expanded, you mentioned Paulette and Scott Lewis from Hillbilly Rockstars, and you've expanded the cruise to add more bands. You've had Hillbilly.
Yeah, I want to. We used to be the Seventh Heaven cruise, and I wanted to include other people, and I didn't want to make it to what everybody had asked. I didn't want them to feel like I'm asking them to help me promote Seventh Heaven, and I respected that they had a band, so I came up with the Chicago Music Cruise. So it was I had a whole bunch of other things. I think I own a few other domain names like Fun Time Cruise and some other ones, because I'm wanting to, because over the years, I've recognized the importance of when you have moments in life, and the cruise has proven itself that it has lasting positive effects with people. Nick Cox's daughter was conceived on one of the cruises. Our Joe and Tina of our crew, Joe Buckberger, who plays in Rumor Has It, and Tina, they met, hooked up on a cruise. They got engaged on a cruise. Now they're married and they have children. And I've seen a lot of friendships and relationships start on the cruise that didn't. When we set sail, they didn't know each other. When we came back, they're now really close friends. And those are lifelong memories. And that has value to me. So I have no problem working my ass off to try to make sure that people have a good time. And I do the best job I can do to take care of the people. I really care about the people that trust me to lead them to that. I take that serious. And so I welcome more and more people, because I see the lasting effects of it. When we have a bad Seventh Heaven show because it's a blizzard outside, bad weather, the people that are in our crowd that are there as our base nucleus, a lot of them have gone on the cruise, so they're like family to us. Yeah, and so I see such positive energy. So why would I not want to do that? I see so many positive things come out of that. My only concern right now is what happens with this virus, whether to postpone the cruise or not. I'm not at that position yet to make a decision, because I want to see how things pan out. I hope we can go on this next one. I haven't been marketing it aggressively because I don't know what's happening.
There's been a lot of questions in the comments about, is the cruise happening?
Right. And so the reason for me, because ironically, this was not my goal, but my travel agency become one of the biggest travel agencies for Royal Caribbean in the Midwest. And so, I'm bringing on hundreds of people on their ship. And for me, I asked them, I said, ships for years have dealt with what's called the corona or the norovirus. The norovirus is a virus that's a stomach issue. It's like getting the flu, but like food poisoning is like that. You know, you brush your hand on the railing and then you touch food and you get that. That's very common on cruise ships if you don't wash your hands. It's the reason why when you walk into all the places where you have to serve or hand pick food, they want you to wash your hands. There's a protocol on how to handle that. When that breaks out on a cruise ship, they immediately get the ship back to port and get people off the ship and get them home so that it doesn't grow any further, and they wash ship. On the this norovirus, they didn't have that protocol in the play. So I've said to the Royal Caribbean, I want you to have a protocol that I feel confident that if we have something happen on a ship, not only do you have a way to treat them on the ship to help the people that are sick, if that happened, but we have a way to get back to an American port and disembark within 24 hours. And that's what I'm asking them to do. When I see that's step one for me. And then the step two for me is my own analytics, looking at how prevalent is the virus still going? Is it still active? And if it is, I don't want to risk people. That's the last thing I want to do. I mean, I'm on with my children and my mom and dad too. So I don't want to, my family's on board. My band guys are like family. They're with me. I don't want anybody getting hurt. So I make the decisions based upon what I think is assessing at that time. I'll probably make a decision sometime around September. Late August, early September. Again, on the 21 cruise.
Yeah. So people at home just, handle all of this info with a grain of salt that, it's just everything.
Right. We don't know.
It's just touch and go.
Yeah, it is.
So, Richie, man, it has been an awesome night of conversation with you. We have lots more to talk about. I'd love to have you on again soon.
Love it.
Yeah, you're such an interesting person to me, and I want to thank you for just all the late night conversations we've had till 4 a.m. after some of your gigs, and all the advice and helpful stuff that you've given me. You've been a friend, you're just an awesome mark on this music scene, and I wish you the best. I wish Seventh Heaven the best. I wish all the guys and the crew. You guys have just, you have a lot of good people around you, and it shows in and out of the industry. The people that work with you behind the scenes, like myself, and then again, my family who I've brought to see you guys. It just everything that you guys do has been good, and I'm not just saying that. I really do mean that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Richie from Seventh Heaven, get out to see a show.
You can.
Yeah, keep track of their schedule at seventhheavenmusic.com or what's
seventhheavenband.com.
Seventhheavenband.com. Yep, Seventh Heaven Band on Facebook. Are you on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff?
Yeah. It self-manages itself. The crew, Ryan manages, I think, the Instagram.
Ryan on the Insta. So so if you want to check them out, go to those places. You'll find their next show. Stay tuned for updates on the cruise.
Our music is on iTunes. Our music is on Spotify as well.
Yep, and stay tuned for the new album that's being worked on. It's going to drop.
I love it. It's fun. I love writing records.
Someone in the comments mentioned maybe putting out a few little teasers or something for it.
It's funny. On a Zoom, I tried playing part of the record, and the Zoom cut off the audio, so people didn't hear it. I was like, could I let people hear a little bit of it?
Yeah. So I want to thank all of the people who tuned in to watch tonight. This has been a dream of mine to do shows like this. I'm so glad that everyone tuned in. You can follow us on Facebook at The Band Buzz. You can also download our podcast. Richie is going to give me a little bonus, maybe a new song for the podcast version. I'm going to sneak something out of him, I'm sure, to help that helps everybody, including my show. But I appreciate it. But once again, Seventh Heaven, Richie Hofherr, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you very much.
Hang out for a minute. I'll get right back to you.
Okay, no problem.
Well, that is our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This was kind of a late night edition, but I appreciate everyone hanging in there. This has been an amazing night. Richie is full of cool and interesting information for both fans and musicians alike. So don't forget to download the podcast version of this, which will probably be up sometime next week with some bonus Seventh Heaven music. So once again, I just want to thank the sponsors of this show, brought to you by Legends of Tomorrow Entertainment. Go to legendsoftomorrowent.com for all of your band or brand management needs. If you have a band or you're starting a band and you need some help in marketing, getting your social media stuff together, these people have what it takes to help you out. Hit them up at info@legendsoftomorrowent.com and ask them to help you out. Also brought to you by Old Wise Clothing Company. My buddy Eric over there has put together a stellar deal. If you enter the code BANDBUZZ, BANDBUZZ, you get 15% off your entire order. They have cool summertime clothing. Just came out with some new tank tops. They have trucker hats. They got ringer tees. They got everything you might want. Very cool designs. If you're a biker, if you're a rock and roll type of person, this kind of gear is for you. Guys from Candlebox are wearing this stuff. The crippler Chris Lieben from MMA wears this stuff. And now your boy at the Band Buzz, Justin Craig, wears this stuff too. Head over and visit my girl Andrea at the Healthy Hustle with Andrea. She's got great wellness tips, cool protein recipes, very cool, interesting stuff over there. Hit up Andrea Graves24 at gmail.com. If you have any questions about the Arbonne products she represents, she will hook you up. Also visit my girl Beth. If you're into like everyday wellness, she's my massage therapist. You can hit her up about that. Tell her I sent you. She's an amazing massage therapist, but she has all kinds of cool stuff going on over at Beth's Healthy Living Inside and Out on Facebook. Ask to join her group. Tell her the Band Buzz sent you, or follow her on Instagram at tranquil.solutions. Don't forget the dot. Tranquil.solutions on Instagram, and you can reach out to her. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for tuning in week after week. We have all kinds of great guests lined up. This has been fantastic. You all have been fantastic. Stay buzzing, y'all.